Hello and welcome guys, welcome back to my another Maya's video. On this video I will be covering the second part of the ongoing series about Arnold's rendering, photorealistic rendering. So on this video I will talk about lighting itself. I'm not a professional as I say, but I will teach you the basic skill and beginner skill that I learned. How do you accomplish somewhat good looking image, realistic image that you will be able to apply for this portal gun. So this is a few rendering that I come up with using this Arnold rendering. So this is what you might get depend on your skills and your textures and your artistic styles you pick on the object itself. So what you needed is, this is the setup scene that I added. So you need a ground first of all and a light. Okay, so you will see a few light here. Let me remove ground. This is the, if I remember correctly, it is a physical light, and this is the area light. This is like the most normal light setup you will be needed, okay? And on this option, you will be using a lot of the Arnold preview rendering, and you click play to see how it look like as a preview. Now it looks so flat. So sometimes you want it to separating from a background itself, and the way you do it, you create another ground where the light can bounce and reflect out of each other's. Okay, it's gonna take a while. My computer is not that strong and I'm recording video, but you get the ideas. So on this video I'm not gonna focus on the model itself, but I will talk about how light will affect the objects. Alright, okay, alright. So in the hypershade menu I have created a few materials. Alright, I create a few menus up here which you might not able to see, but here it is. So this is all except two of this. Remember, don't change the Lambert 1 material. Lambert 1 always will be using as a non-textures material. It's like an object where you didn't assign material in it. Okay, so don't mess around with this. Always creating new materials. Alright, I forgot to mention that on my previous video. Bummers. That's that. Alright, so each of this is a material for my portal gun textures. Start off with the energy blue energies, which is the inside right here, and this one is like the edge corners, energy corners, like inside here. If you can see, I hope you can see inside there. Okay, and then energy inside, which is the bright glowing effects inside. This is the inside tube and the wire. So this will be the shiny part of the portal gun, and this will be the wired up here, and both of these are white shell, which is this one, and if I remember correctly it's the same one as this one. My naming is not that good, but at least I know what it is and what isn't. I guess. Okay, so you can name whatever stuff you want, and then you will need to remember which model and which material you assign to. Okay, so now you have all the hypershade setup, material setup. You assign it like so. Move on to background. How do you create a background? Well, so you can just create a ground, a flat surface, flat piece of the square, or what I really like to do is I go to curve here, surface and curve, creating this one, the plane one. And now it's gonna spawn up like here. I change the side of it to whatever I want. Let's make it a bit longer than like really big. I right click hull using my selection move tools. Click on one of the line. You see, click any of the line, like the vertical line or horizontal. Move up, move down, depend on what you want. Most of the time you click at the long end and click another one, move it up, move it down. Just trying to get like a setup you want it to be. Now you create a curve like shape. Usually you just move the last one and then settle this back, really like that. Okay, and then this one back as well, so you will get a somewhat nice looking backdrop pre-render. And you can assign colors and material on here as well to make it reflect, or you can add image or something like that and use UV, but I'm not gonna cover that on this video. Alright, so now you have a ground. I'll use mine right here. You have a light. So how do I explain this? Start off with the main simple light that you will be always using as a preview. Alright, so in Arnold lightings here, you have area light, sky dome, mesh light, the photometric light. I'm not using this. The portal light, I'm not using that. Skylight, physical light, something like that. Okay, start off with the first one, area light. So I have area light right here. I click on it, it's gonna spawn up here. So you will not see any different until you click on no rendering wheel. You will see that, let me delete that first. You will see that the object here is just a glow in the dark object. Then this is the only thing you will see, which is too dark. You want to see entire object to view it properly, right? So let's start with, again, area light. I put area light in. You see that it's somewhat shining the object, but clearly it's not enough. Okay. Let's move to this side right here. It's not enough. You can either scale it up to make the light spread more, rotate it to shine on it directly. It's not gonna be enough no matter what. So what you're gonna do is going to this attribute menu. You can customize your area light here. Change the colors as example. Now it's blue, but then you add intensities. Most of the time, don't use just only area light. You will use something else and apply this as well. Okay, so you see that it's spreading, everything is nicely. You can add a color temperatures to make it look like so. So you get the idea. The area light is supposed to just light up just only that area where the line shooting at. If you look at the line carefully, I hope you see the line. See the line pointing at with the arrows. Yeah, you see that. Alright, it's just that how it works. Okay, move on to the next one. The next one is the sky dome, which is interesting. Sky dome is most of the time you will use it as to light up the overall scenario object to preview, or you can creating somewhat well lit room, like a well lit object room where you normal like a sky. So this one is more interesting. You are able to create changing the color, changing the light, how proceed, how much exposures, something like that, intensities, and then how much sample, casting shadow or not. So basically it's just a way you light up the whole room to see. That's all. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next one is mesh light. Okay, mesh light is hard to explain here. So mesh light, you know mesh, you create an object. For example, I create a circle here. Let's just put it there, just in case, below here. The way you create mesh light is that you have an object that is a mesh. You click that and mesh light. Now this object turned into a light itself. As you can see, this sphere turned into a glowing object where it's quite dark. Let me intensify the light up. See? So wherever I move, now it's better since it's glowing 360 angle. You see that the light, oh damn, my computer cannot handle this. So now the light is at the back. I move it to the front. See, I hope you see. It doesn't that good. Okay, so here the front, the back, you're creating amazing glow effect on here. So and then it depends on how much you're scaling it as well. Make it big, make it small. So now we know about mesh light. You can assign any object and turn that into a mesh, which is different than adding textures or material to a object itself. It's different. So it perceives that as light, but this still perceived as a material if you add a glow effect to it. Next one I'm not gonna mention is like a photometric light, where you will use it like the light shining down. I didn't put like learn about this yet, so I cannot fully explain how what is that supposed to be. So move on to next one is like a light portal. You create a portal somehow, the light to it, like create a portal like feeling to it. I'm not sure. Okay, so next one is a physical sky. This one is far more interesting than all of it, where it's trying to simulate how sky will be. Okay, I'm trying to zoom out and make it small so that I can just render in some more part at a time. So you will go to attribute menu when you can start changing, messing around turbidities, if I pronounce it correctly, how like the light glows, I guess. And then this is evaluate like the how sun, they just say like sun position, okay, like the noon, the dawn, dusk, dawn, and like the timing of the sun position in like simulated. Okay, if I look on that side, this is a sky. Hope you can see. Let's see the sun. Let me make it really big. Okay, so here the sun comes up. See that how sun works, like at noon the sun is on metals, and see sun, and then sun go down, then it's dark. Okay, so that's basically how it works, simulating the sun and everything. My computer cannot handle it anymore. So this one is like the most interesting one if you want to spending some time learning and playing around with the sun itself. You can add colors and sun tint, make it a bit red, and it's gonna look weird in a way. This you can actually do a lot with this, and I will put up a video right now. So here's the pictures where another scene I created. I use a bit of like Mayas and Photoshop, so you can see here that the scene here have a skies and a reflection. I use different type of Arnold rendering, but here is the video of it, how it look like between each rendering. This is the finalized version when you're rendering out in Maya. So here you can see that I use all of it from like a physical sky to add a effects to it. Okay, so I start off with just materials like normal shape, just like normal geometry shape, and then I select this, just only a few blocks, add a glowing effect, add different shaders. This is just colors, and this is how color perceive in 2Ds. And this one is a chromatic material. This is a bit of shininess, and then this is normal standard surface. This is metal, glow in the dark. So overall it's like that. Okay, same as this one. So you see that this is a process between it over. Okay, just look at that. So here you have, I hope you understand like overall idea what each light do. So move on to the last part of this video where you apply that. Okay, so if you search Google what is the basic lighting position, there's a lot more clear image how lighting will proceed. There's a lot of tutorial how you set up the lightings for the objects itself, and most of the time you will have the, I hope this makes sense though. Let's just say that use this as example. Okay, so most of the time you will have the key light, fill light, the backlight, overall something like that, where there's a lot of way or term to call the light itself, field light, background light, main light, or whatever you want to call it. But basically you have one light that shine directly spotlight to the object itself. The main light where the light just shining like kind of dimmer than the field light, but kind of like overall lit up the area. And the background light where it's gonna lit up all the background, where it will help make your background clear and then easy to see and make your character pops. The rim light here is just like a way to make like the character even pops a bit more. Okay, overall that is just a basic. You will just only need, sometimes you just only need 3 light, which is the field light, main light, and the background light. Okay, sometime. But if you want to get more creative, you can add more light and play around. Okay, see here. Okay, this is like a really good example right here. So this is a key light shining. You don't want to shine it directly to your object. Sometimes it's gonna make your object look so flat and then look so boring and dull. So that's why you have key light shining in, and then field light shining from this side, and then back to make it pop. That's only 3 lights you will be needed. See, the camera is like there, and then backlight. Either shining to the background to make the background reflect and bounce back to your object or your subject, or either shine to your subject itself. Okay, so I hope you understand that. You can Google search multiple way. Oh, this thing reading quite nice. Okay, so let me delete the light I have. This is the default setup that I always use to preview my object most of the time here. It's a bit different than what you see in the, what do you call, like the Google image that I search, since we have you have a sky dome where it lit up the whole entire object scene already, so it's already bright enough. Okay, so you don't need any like object itself. And then since my object have a glowing particle effect here, there's nothing right or wrong how you're playing with the light. I added a field light here, area light to compensate with the object itself to make it a bit pops. Okay, so this light below make the object here kind of glow and then look floaty to it, and then this light just make it pops from the background, and this will be my key light where it's make the object from here, like this side here, kind of pops and not flat. That's basically it. This is my preset up, and this here just make the back here look glowy so that you can see the depth of the shell itself that you see is kind of curved down. So basically I add a light down here and down here to closer to than these two to help perceive the shape itself, where the curved part is, or it look like a cylinder, it look like a tunnel, like a shape of it. Okay, so you can see all the curves and how it perceives the light itself. Okay, this is just one example, but you will never go wrong when you try to use only 3 light and play around and put around here. But let's see if I delete the background light itself. So when you delete that, you will see that it's a bit different than what you think it will be. So now you don't have the overall light itself. It looks so dark. So what you're gonna need to do is add another either mesh light or area light. So this case I'll use mesh light to make it different. So the more light you have, it will take a lot more time to rendering it out. So I add a light here to light up the overall shape, and then I will need one more. This is too much light already, since it's like a particle decorative light. It's not a light that you will be actually using to light up the scene. So it's gonna take a lot more than what you think you will be needed. Okay, now, so this is too bright. Let down to 5. Exposure is also 4. So now you have it. I usually don't like the way to rendering the single object like this, since the only light we will need is just like a sky dome to preview the object. We didn't use it for rendering a scene or make a actual movie scene out of it. So it's just a way to perceive object and see how it look like in realistic manners. Right, I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. I hope the lighting way that I teach you work. Don't forget to share and subscribe. See you guys on the next video. Bye.